Right.
Hello.
Hi, Charlotte. Good
Hey, Amy. Good to see you.
to see you too. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm in isolation, as
Yeah.
many others, I
Mhm.
believe. But I'm on the countryside, so I can actually step outside and get some fresh air from time to time. So that's nice.
Fantastic. It feels very good to be able to do that. I'm also glad to be able, I mean, we don't have a total lockdown yet, but even if we do, at least I can walk out to the garden and get some air. So it wouldn't be that bad. So it's nice to know that you're okay. And despite the
Yeah.
situation, I'm really excited to have you on, really excited to speak to you. I'm sure we've had some great engagement. So I'm sure the viewers are super excited for what you have coming. I'm just going to say
Mhm.
to them, if you have any questions as I speak with Charlotte, please feel free to leave a comment, leave your question down below, and I'll pause my conversation and ask Charlotte your question. Now, Charlotte, we can get right to it. Please tell us more about yourself, who you are, and what you do.
Yeah, so I am a former, I must say, broadcasting CEO in Africa. I've been living in Ghana for 3 years, running a TV station called Viasat One. My connection to sports back then was that we had Champions League and we had our own studio. And I also know I have a lot of connections in football in Ghana
Mhm.
as well. But then when I moved back to Sweden, I have been working with professional ice hockey. So I
Mhm.
was actually the first woman in Sweden to be president of a professional ice hockey team. I know that ice hockey might not be so common in Africa,
Of course,
but
yeah.
in Sweden it's huge. It's like football in
Mhm.
Africa. That is what hockey is in Sweden. And I have been president of not only one club, but actually two different clubs.
Mhm.
And now I am a mentor and a chairwoman. And yeah, so I working with the top level entrepreneurs and business owners. Yeah, so that's
Fantastic.
me.
I think, yeah, no, I think this is definitely exciting. I just want to highlight that, to all the women watching, I think we've had excellent women join us today. I mean, ranging from all the people that we've spoken to, and now you just mentioned that you are the first, woman in the position that you held. So I think that's absolutely brilliant. And I hope that's inspiring, not only for the women, but anyone else who is watching today. I really hope that inspires you. So can you share more about, this position of you being, the first woman? How did you end up there? How did you find yourself there?
Well, it was actually a friend of mine who recommended that I apply for the job. And when
Hmm.
she suggested it to me, I'm like, what? I've never played ice hockey.
Yeah.
And then I thought, yeah, but it's such a big movement. Sports is more than just a few games that is broadcasted on TV.
Hmm.
We have youth teams, young people, where we actually, is taking part in molding them and part of their upbringing in being a good person, a team player, and in Sweden it's such a big deal of big part of society as well. It engages so many people in on the local level for job opportunities, but then we have fans all over the world. And when I started to think of it like that, I was just like, I've been working with broadcasting where my goal was to get as many viewers as possible to watch our programs. But now sports is no different really from that, because now I need to make sure that people come to the sports arena to
Yeah.
watch the players. So when I started comparing the business models, I actually realized that this is not so different after all. And when you are at the top, when you're a CEO or
Hmm.
president, you work with organizations as a whole. So the fact that I've never played ice hockey doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Um, so, uh, and when I just realized that I had the corporate background needed, I decided to apply for the job, and I
Mhm.
got it. And when it hit the media that this club has taken a chance on me, the first ever female CEO and
Mhm.
president of a club, I was 34 years old.
Mhm.
I'd never played hockey before, and I was not part of that community at all.
Yeah.
And I've never even been to that part of the country where this club was based. So
Mhm.
everyone was like so shocked, like, what? So
Yeah.
I ended up spending a lot of time in interviews, and here is actually an advice for other females watching.
Mhm.
It's that everyone was so focused that I was the first woman, and I immediately just turned it around and said, "Yeah, uh, I'm the right person for this."
Mhm.
It's true. I've never been an ice hockey player. So
Yeah.
for me to go in with, to meet all these big guys and pretending to be a man, that would not work, would it?
Yeah. Mhm.
But I knew that I had a better business background than the other hockey people.
Mhm.
So I just fell back on that constantly. Like, I was so confident that I could run a business. And when they saw that I was confident and that I wasn't playing this little cute little girl card, I
Yeah.
was being a CEO. And then, then that's when they started taking me more seriously, because they could have given me a really hard time.
Yeah.
Um, but they realized that, yeah, it's true. She's not going to play. She's not a player. She's the CEO. She's going to make,
Mhm.
good choices on who plays, and she's going to sell tickets. And it's not about what's happening on the
Yeah.
field.
Yeah.
So it's really important to know why you take on a certain job, and
Mhm.
also to know why uh, what you can contribute
Yeah.
with, and stick to that regardless of your gender, really.
That's fantastic. I think that's a great perspective, into what you went through. And I don't know if there's anything else, that you can share. I'm really curious, just about your leadership role. You've mentioned, of course, I don't know if this is the only one, but the gender challenges, being, a woman in that position, what you went through. Is
Mhm.
there any other challenge you faced, or what is the experience being like in such a top leadership position? And how did you overcome any challenges that you might have faced? Any other challenges?
Well, I was or am a very confident person, I guess.
Yeah.
So I was so confident because I moved to Ghana, and for a Swedish person who, going to an African continent, and I
Yep.
was 31 years of
Hmm.
age at that time. Um, I just had to know, I had to learn how to adapt, and I
Hmm.
had to understand how the culture was and how to communicate with people. And through that process, I learned so much that I was fairly confident when I moved back to Sweden that,
Hmm.
okay, if I can understand the dynamics of the Ghanaian market, I'm pretty sure I can go back to my home country and just step into a new industry.
Yeah.
So it's really about, for me, it's really about knowing your skills and knowing what you want to do with the
Mhm.
company. And then as a CEO, you really need to have the board
Mhm.
on board. You need for the owners to buy into your vision, so that
Mhm.
they will support you. That is really
Yeah.
important, because
Mhm.
if they don't fully support you and you make a decision that they don't really like, they can turn on you, and that is
Yeah.
like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
That actually happened in my second hockey club. We disagreed on so many strategic discussions that
Mhm.
they were just throwing me in front of the bus, so to speak,
Mhm.
because, and I actually left because I didn't want to be part of an organization that
Yeah.
did not share my values.
Yeah.
So it's windy at the top, as they say in Sweden.
Mhm.
But so it's so important that you have the same plan and ambition and integrity, I feel,
As the club.
as
Yeah.
the owners. And once you have that on board, you can just start working with your organization. And
Mhm.
the key for me is that everyone is different, so you need to find what makes you a good leader. But I am
Mhm.
a people's person, so I trust people. I give people the chance
Mhm.
to grow and make mistakes, and
Mhm.
because I am a team player. I'm not a dictator,
Mhm.
but it's everyone is different, so there's really no advice on exactly how to be.
Mhm.
Just see what your skills are, and what
Yeah.
certain aspects of the leadership that you feel really confident in and that you get good feedback from. That is something to hold on to.
Yeah, no, definitely. I like that you touched on skills because we'll be talking about that a little later. I just wanted to ask, obviously, related to gender and inclusion, being a first in a certain situation and generally just your experience of women in sport. What's your take on, the need for development in terms of gender and inclusion in sports?
I mean, it's when you're the first woman to enter a field, you get a lot of attention. And not everyone is happy to see you succeed either. So what you need to do is to use that attention wisely. You can't let it get to your head, for instance. I mean, there's so many TV stations that wanted to interview me that I started to say no because, hey, I actually don't have time. We need to work. I need to go to my team and make some good results, and then we can talk. And it's also, you're doing it for the first time, so you get a lot of beatings, not literally, but figuratively speaking. And it's it is a statement. But then once you have established yourself, that you get to that level where people respect you, you have good results, when things starts moving, then it's important to remember all the other women around you and lift them up. You can't do that from day one always. But what I did is that when I felt established, that's when I started hiring, more women. I started supporting the women's hockey team that we had, and becoming an advocate for that, because it's our mission, I feel, to help other women. And that is also why I am a mentor. And that's how we met, Amy. Because I believe in giving back and helping other young women rise. So I think that is a very important task that we all women have, that when we have the opportunity, we should share.
Fantastic. I wouldn't even get into, asking you more about mentorship because you've shared that as well. To the viewers, as Charlotte mentioned, that's actually how I met her, because she is my mentor in a certain program and has been fantastic on checking up with me. And it's very nice to actually just have someone who is, understanding of your journey and who is willing to check up with you. So this is something I definitely appreciate, Charlotte, and I'm glad that you're supporting and, sharing more to everyone here. Now, going back, obviously, to what you mentioned before in terms of skills, what is, of course, I'm sure there's many for you, but what is one skill that you think has really been played a critical role in terms of your self-development today?
I think it's, I actually had to think about that one for a while, but it's at the very heart of it, it's passion. Unfortunately, I have to be very passionate, with what I do. I could not go to any job just to get paid. I need to really feel for the product or the service. And in terms of the sports industry, it was my passion for people and development. You can see these young kids on their skates for the first time, falling over and getting back up. And, my eyes were just like watering up, because like, Jesus, this is the reason we're all doing this, the love for the game and for the young people. But then once you find what you're really passionate about, the ones that really succeed are the ones that has a lot of grit. And grit means that you're a grinder. You work hard and you don't give up. And I believe that if you have a clear vision, if you have that love for the game, for the sport, and you have a plan, it's easier to keep going even in hard times. Because you have set sights on your mission, and if you are on a boat and the sea is really heavy, at least you keep your eye on the prize and you know where you're going. It's easier. But if you don't really care about the business, it just pays the bills, and if you are if you're not don't really have a clear goal, then the minute it starts to get a bit shaky, you will probably quit.
Yeah.
That is my experience
Mm-hmm.
from my life. So passion and grit is something that is needed.
Yeah. I think it's really nice that you've mentioned that, and you've not only said that alone, not just passion alone, because that's a conversation I had with one of the speakers before. And it's so important for me to just realize that no one mentions passion alone, because passion is a huge thing, but it's not enough. It's not just having the passion. So with you, you've mentioned having passion and grit as well. So I hope that's something that the viewers will take into account. And I just want to ask, as a student perspective or young learner, understanding how, okay, I've identified that I have this passion and I think I have a sense of grit in me. I want to get into the sports industry, but where do I start? What does a journey look like for someone who's not there yet, coming from someone who has been there and achieved a lot there?
Well, I guess it's the first step is to actually find a place to work. And, if you are passionate about football and you have a favorite local team, then go and knock on the door and see if you can do something for the club. Even in Sweden, where we had this big professional ice hockey clubs, I still had like 200 people who worked on a voluntary basis. They got a nice t-shirt, they got like a lunch or something sometimes, but they just wanted to be part of the community. They had their own jobs, but they just wanted to be part. And that is so beautiful. So you can always start out on a volunteering base just to get to know the right people. Or if you don't find a place to work at, you can do as you did, Amy. You can start your own business. But a network of people is always good to have, regardless if you are wanting to take an employment with a club or some kind of sports organization, or if you want to start up your own business, because you can't you can't have enough people around you, really. And that is also another advice, be kind, be nice, be the person you would like to meet, and good things will fall back on you. So it's all about building your own network, and also branding yourself, then exposing yourself to those environments where you want to be at, because everyone is so stressed out these days. Everyone is working and running around, and sometimes you just need to remind people that you exist, because they don't really have time to look you up.
Yeah. That's actually that last point is it's hit me very well, because that's something, again, with another speaker that said, it's that it's sometimes we fear very much to be persistent, and it seems a bit pushy, as she was saying, a little like, okay, I don't know when to backtrack, but it's important because people are busy and people forget. But when you want to be in a certain space, in order to show someone that you're serious about what you're saying, it is important to push them for that. So thank you so much for highlighting that, because that's something now, from the first speaker saying it to you saying it, that's something I'm going to be keeping at the back of my mind. When I feel like I'm being annoying, I'll keep being annoying and pushing for it, because people forget and you have to remind them, why you're relevant. Do you have any last words for, anyone that's viewing, any last pieces of advice that you'd like to share as we wrap up?
Ooh, no, not at the top of my head, but but I really want to reach out to you, Amy, and to Ed for putting this together, because I have so many positive experiences from sports, and also to see how sport is such an important part of people's lives, and it gives them hope, it gives them joy, it brings people together. And we can even see now in these times of the coronavirus that they've been putting all these sports activities on hold. Jesus Christ, I have nothing to do in the evenings now. I just realized I consume hours and hours and hours of sport every week, and I wasn't even aware. So it is such a good industry that we all need. So it's really excited that you put this together, and I hope that all the people that are listening can get some advice so we can keep it going.
Thank you so much for that, Charlotte. How can people interact with you? If I'm sure a lot of people have resonated with what you said. They may want to ask some questions. How can they get in touch with you?
Oh, I am on all social media platforms. So it's
Mhm.
Twitter or LinkedIn, or I can even supply my personal email as well.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
fantastic. So Ed and I will actually share that. If anyone feels that they'd like to reach out to Charlotte, for now you can find her, on LinkedIn. You can check all the posters we made with her name and you'll find her information. If you want to get more connected to her and would like her email, please reach out to me and Ed. And in the meantime, please share your biggest takeaway from Charlotte. There was a lot from me. So please share it here on Facebook on the live stream, or you can take it to Twitter. Don't forget to tag Charlotte and use the hashtag Spirit of Sport. It was fantastic having you, Charlotte. This was an amazing session to speak, and I look forward to speaking to you beyond this. Thank you so much for supporting us and being here.
of course. Thank you too, Amy.